Hi, I'm going to start calling myself Grandma Jody from Jody Luna Art because I'm very excited about doing some activities for all of your bored children and grandchildren that are quarantined at home. This next activity is going to be salt dough sculpture. Salt dough sculpture is a really inexpensive activity with ingredients that most people have around their house. All you need is some flour and some salt. So stay tuned. We're going to make a salt dough sculpture heart because we all have someone that we love very much during this difficult time of being quarantined. Thank you and stay tuned. This is what we're going to make today. A very simple heart wreath with some leaves and a rose. We're going to use a paper clip to hang it if you have a paper clip handy. All you need is a cup of flour, a half a cup of just plain salt, some water, and I like to mix the water gradually, so I'm not going to give you an actual measurement, but we want it to be the consistency of Play-Doh. And the other thing that we're going to need, if you have a toothpick handy or a paper clip that you can open up and use to make the lines, that would be awesome. I have lots of fancy dough sculpting tools, but I'm trying to find something that you don't have to go out and buy. Mix your flour and your salt into a bowl. And the trick with salt dough is that you want to keep it the consistency of Play-Doh. You can always add a little more flour and salt if you need to. So I like to just add my water gradually, swirl it around with my fingers. You're going to start seeing the dough emerge from the flour and the salt. Keep adding your water until it becomes a consistency where it's not too sticky. You can see that we still need some more water because it's falling apart. So you start mixing it. If you discover that it's too sticky, you can always add a little more flour. And I always like to keep a little bit of flour on hand for this reason, because as you work with the dough, it often becomes stickier than usual. Another important secret that I've learned is you're going to need a plastic bag to put your dough in when you're not working with it, because the dough will quickly dry out. So we're going to go ahead and put it in a plastic bag. Seal your bag. My favorite surface to work on is basically just a table, something a flat surface. Start with a little flour on the bottom. And then we're going to take some dough, knead it until it's smooth. Make sure you seal up your bag. And then we're going to roll it out. And you want to kind of spread your fingers so that the dough will roll out evenly. And roll it until you get it as narrow as you'd like. Smooth it a little bit so it's about the same diameter. Once you have it about the way you like it, you're basically going to start twisting it. Bring it up to the top. And we're going to seal it. But that's the next step. And I have to show you how to make a little bit of paste. Once the dough has dissolved in the water, doesn't even have to be all the way, then you can take a paintbrush and we're going to attach our heart together. But before we do that, make sure you put it on some tin foil, because you don't want to move your dough sculptures around a lot once you form them, because that'll make the dough crack. So now we have our heart, and we're ready for the next step. Next, you're going to need to put the paper clip in. So put the long end in and push it down like that. And then we're going to do the leaves. So we're going to want to get 3 small balls of dough. And each one of them, we're gonna take, I like to put this one on my middle finger and my thumb, and then I want to pinch it to where, with my other hand, to where it looks like a teardrop. And then I'm gonna open up my paper clip and I'm gonna make my lines. This, get our paste, flip it off our finger, put it on the bottom and put a little bit of paste where the 3 leaves are gonna go. And we're gonna put our middle leaf first and press it. And then we're gonna work on our top leaves. Put your lines in. If you have a little paper clip, you can have a finer line. Flip it off your finger, put your paste. Work quickly. The less you play with it, the less cracks you're gonna have in the dough. And flip it off your finger, turn it over, put your paste, and now we're ready for our rose. I'd like to make quite a few little petals, like just little balls of dough. Get them all ready ahead of time. And then you're gonna take one little ball of dough that's smaller and you're gonna roll it out in your palm and you're gonna flatten it. This is tricky and this can take a lot of practice, and I've often had to do this over and over again. Try to curl it up from the bottom edge and just start curling it. If it sticks to your hand, you're gonna need a little flour. The idea is you wanna have that little centerpiece be really delicate. And if you haven't let your dough set out, your petals, you don't have to put any more paste right now. You're just gonna take them and you're gonna start to overlap them like this. And start to build your rose, overlapping your petals. If you find that your petals are sticking to your hand, then you need to go wash your hands and put a little flour in your hands. Keep rolling your rose. Till you get it as large as you want. And I think I'm going to do one more petal. And then this is important. Without squishing your leaves, just take it to the side and pinch off the base. Put some paste and then set it down ever so gently, and it's at the base. Just take your back of your paintbrush and secure it there. And now you have your rose on top of your leaves on your heart. Okay, so a word about baking. I like to bake my salt dough sculptures on 170, the lowest setting of your oven. It's gonna be a long bake. It's usually all day, and then I flip it over and all night. If you don't like to leave your oven on at night, then all day, turn off your oven, flip it over and do the backside the night after. If you don't wanna use your oven at all, you can let it air dry. It's gonna take about a week. So about halfway through the week, when it's firm on one side, flip it over, let it dry on the other, and then it's going to leave like a little crack on the back. Just take some more dough and shove it in there and smooth it over, and there you go. So I'm glad you joined me for this lesson, and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the arts and craft lessons that I'm gonna be doing soon. Thank you.